Have you ever noticed that some people seem almost determined to dim the light in your life? No matter what you accomplish, no matter how hard you work, they find a way to criticize, judge, or subtly undermine you. It isn't about you, it's about them. Negative people often carry insecurities, fears, or disappointments that they refuse to confront. Instead of addressing their own struggles, they project them outward, trying to pull others down to their level. When you walk through life with clarity, confidence, and a sense of purpose, you are showing them a mirror. They see what they lack: discipline, courage, or self-respect, and it makes them uncomfortable. Understanding this dynamic is essential if you want to protect your energy and maintain control over your own life. When you recognize that their words and actions are reflections of their inner state rather than judgments on your worth, you stop reacting out of fear or frustration. You begin to see that the tension they create, the criticism they offer, and the passive-aggressive behaviors they exhibit are all attempts to manage their own insecurity. And the more clearly you see it, the less power they have over your emotions. This is why emotional awareness is so crucial. If you allow yourself to be drawn into their drama, you give away the very energy that fuels your progress and confidence. But when you pause, observe, and understand, you reclaim control. You realize that you can choose how to respond, and in doing so, you send a quiet but unmistakable message. Your life, your choices, and your happiness are yours to govern. Every interaction with negativity is an opportunity to practice self-mastery. Every comment, every criticism, and every attempt to provoke becomes a test, not of your abilities, but of your composure and clarity. When you approach life with this mindset, you are no longer a participant in their attempts to manipulate or control. You remain centered, focused, and purposeful, and that awareness alone begins to shift the balance of power. Their discomfort, their insistence on negativity, and their attempts to project fear onto you all become signs that you are moving in the right direction, standing firmly in your own strength while they struggle to do the same. Why negative people fear you? Negative people fear what they cannot control, and that fear is at the core of why they react the way they do toward you. When you operate from a place of self-confidence, discipline, and clarity, it exposes a truth they often refuse to face. They are not fully in charge of their own lives. This is not something they can tolerate because it challenges the illusions they have built to justify their own inaction or insecurity. They are uncomfortable because they see you making choices, taking action, and pursuing goals while they remain stuck in doubt, hesitation, or resentment. Your ability to move forward, to stay focused, and to maintain composure under pressure is a mirror reflecting their own unaddressed fears, and that reflection is unbearable to them. The criticism you receive, the passive-aggressive comments, the backhanded compliments, even the moments of silence from them are all tools designed to shake you, to make you question yourself. But these attempts reveal more about them than they ever could about you. They are attempting to regain a sense of control they feel slipping away when they witness your independence and strength. Every negative remark is an admission that they are intimidated by your capability. They may try to disguise it as concern, advice, or even humor, but the underlying truth is always the same. Your confidence unsettles them. The stronger and calmer you become, the more they feel exposed and vulnerable because they rely on the discomfort of others to feel a semblance of power. Negative people fear consistency and determination because these qualities cannot be swayed by fleeting moods, petty arguments, or emotional manipulation. When you demonstrate steady commitment to your purpose, they see a standard they cannot meet, and instead of being inspired, they respond with judgment or attempts to diminish you. They are uncomfortable with the certainty in your decisions because certainty highlights their hesitation, doubt, and lack of self-assurance. Your independence is a reminder that you are the one controlling your destiny, while they may be drifting through life reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. They also fear resilience. When you maintain composure in the face of adversity, when you refuse to let criticism define you, it demonstrates a mastery over your own emotions that they have not achieved. This mastery is a silent challenge they are unwilling to confront directly. They may try to provoke anger, guilt, or frustration, but your calm response disarms them. Silence, measured words, and steadfast focus speak louder than any argument, and this quiet strength is precisely what makes them uneasy. They cannot intimidate someone who does not respond to their fear tactics. Another reason negative people fear you is that they recognize, even if only subconsciously, the authenticity you carry. They fear authenticity because it exposes pretense, insecurity, and the compromises they have made to fit in or avoid failure. When you live in alignment with your values, pursue your goals with clarity, and assert your boundaries without apology, you demonstrate a level of integrity they cannot easily replicate. This integrity makes them uncomfortable because it reminds them of the choices they have avoided and the courage they have not claimed for themselves. Negative people are threatened by your capacity to be untouchable in your own energy. The more you understand your worth, the more confident you become, the less control they have. They can throw words, criticism, or subtle manipulations your way, but none of it sticks when you are anchored in self-respect and purpose. Their fear of you is not a reflection of your weaknesses. It is a reflection of their own insecurities, hesitation, and inability to claim the same strength that you demonstrate every day. Every attempt they make to undermine you is a sign that you are doing exactly what they cannot. Every uncomfortable glance, every offhand remark, every moment of tension is evidence that you are standing firmly in your power, and that realization is exactly what frightens them most. Protecting yourself from negativity. Protecting yourself from negativity begins with a simple but powerful understanding. The negativity you encounter is never truly about you. It originates from the insecurities, fears, and unaddressed frustrations of others. Recognizing this is the first step to maintaining control over your energy and your life. When you understand that every critical comment, every attempt to provoke, and every subtle undermining gesture is a reflection of their inner turmoil rather than your shortcomings, you begin to respond with clarity instead of reaction. This awareness allows you to maintain composure, preserve focus, and approach interactions with a measured mindset rather than giving away your emotional power. One of the most important practices in protecting yourself is learning not to take negativity personally. When someone attacks you, criticizes your choices, or belittles your achievements, pause and remind yourself that their words are about them, not you. Their frustration, envy, or need to control is driving their behavior, not any deficiency on your part. By mentally separating yourself from their attempts to provoke, you disarm them. Their power to influence your emotions diminishes, and you regain the ability to act from a place of strength and self-possession. This is not detachment from reality. It is a conscious choice to prevent another person's inner chaos from dictating your own peace of mind. Another crucial aspect of self-protection is limiting exposure to habitual negative influences. Not everyone deserves consistent access to your time, energy, or emotional space. Some individuals thrive on conflict, constant criticism, or subtle manipulation, and interacting with them repeatedly can erode your confidence, focus, and motivation. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-preservation. Choosing when and how to engage, and when to step away, allows you to maintain clarity and avoid being dragged into unnecessary drama. Distance does not mean disengagement from life. It means strategic preservation of your mental and emotional resources so that you can remain effective, grounded, and purposeful. Equally important is maintaining focus on your goals. Negativity loses its potency when you are consistently moving forward, actively pursuing your ambitions, and achieving measurable progress. When your attention is on what you want to create, rather than on the fear, criticism, or judgment of others, you render their influence irrelevant. Their words, no matter how sharp or calculated, cannot derail someone who is committed, disciplined, and deliberate in their actions. Success is the ultimate form of resistance to negativity. It is not about proving anything to anyone else. It is about affirming to yourself that your efforts, your discipline, and your vision are stronger than external attempts to intimidate or distract you. Responding with calm confidence is another powerful tool. Negativity often seeks to provoke, to elicit an emotional reaction that gives the other person a sense of control. By maintaining composure, choosing your words carefully, or even responding with silence when appropriate, you disrupt their attempts to manipulate you. Silence can be more disarming than confrontation. Measured words spoken with certainty communicate strength without aggression. Calmness in the face of provocation is a demonstration of self-mastery, and it can unsettle even the most persistent negative individuals because they realize their tactics have no effect on someone anchored in purpose and clarity. Surround yourself with positivity. The energy you allow into your environment matters profoundly. Just as negativity can drain you, constructive, supportive, and encouraging influences can amplify your resilience and motivation. Choose relationships, interactions, and communities that reinforce your sense of worth, challenge you constructively, and provide inspiration rather than distraction. Positivity is not just emotional, it is strategic. By consciously curating your environment, you reduce the frequency and intensity of negative encounters, while simultaneously increasing opportunities for growth, collaboration, and progress. Your network becomes a protective buffer, supporting your mental and emotional well-being and reinforcing the habits and mindsets that help you thrive despite outside pressures. Understanding these strategies collectively is crucial because protection is not a one-time effort. It is a continuous practice. It requires vigilance, self-awareness, and deliberate action. Each interaction with negativity, each boundary you set, each moment you choose composure over reaction, and each step you take toward your goals is an exercise in self-mastery. These practices create a shield around your energy, preventing external forces from destabilizing your progress. They do not make you insensitive or unfeeling. They make you intentional, deliberate, and powerful. In mastering this approach, you shift the balance of control. The negativity that once threatened to influence your mood, confidence, or direction now loses significance, leaving you free to pursue your life with clarity, focus, and unshakable determination. Negative people operate from a place of fear, insecurity, and a desire for control and understanding. This is key to maintaining your power. They thrive on the idea that they can influence, manipulate, or unsettle others to feel a temporary sense of dominance. Their attempts to provoke anger, doubt, or guilt are strategies designed to gain control over your emotional state, because control is one thing they believe they can claim when other aspects of their lives feel uncertain. But someone who knows their worth and has mastered their own mind is not susceptible to these tactics. The moment you recognize that their words and actions are about their internal struggles rather than your shortcomings, you immediately begin to remove their leverage. Negativity loses its bite when it is no longer taken personally, and that is the ultimate form of self-protection. It is also crucial to understand that negative people fear authenticity and self-mastery because it exposes what they avoid in themselves. When you act with integrity, make decisions that reflect your values, and pursue your goals with consistency, it highlights the areas where they have compromised or surrendered to fear. They may try to provoke you or challenge your choices, but their discomfort is not a reflection of your actions. It is a reflection of their inability to achieve the same clarity, courage, and discipline. This is why criticism often feels personal, even when it is not. It is their own insecurity speaking, disguised as judgment. Recognizing this allows you to maintain perspective, avoid overreaction, and keep your focus where it belongs, on your life, your purpose, and your growth. Confidence is another reason they feel threatened. Negative individuals often seek to control situations or people because they feel powerless in other areas of life. Your calm, measured confidence removes that sense of control from them. When you respond to criticism with composure, when you refuse to be drawn into arguments or emotional confrontations, you demonstrate that their tactics have no effect. Silence, calm responses, or deliberate action communicates power far more effectively than confrontation ever could. Your confidence becomes a barrier they cannot penetrate because they rely on emotional reactions to feel dominant. They want to see doubt, fear, or instability in others because it validates their own control, and when none of that is available, it unnerves them. Another layer of insight is understanding their reliance on projection. Negative people project their insecurities onto others as a way to deflect attention from their own shortcomings. When they attempt to criticize, manipulate, or belittle you, they are really exposing the areas in which they feel inadequate. By seeing this for what it is, you no longer internalize their words. Their behavior becomes a map of their fears rather than a commentary on your abilities. This shift in perspective transforms interactions from emotional threats into opportunities to exercise self-mastery and maintain composure. It is also important to recognize that negative people often operate in patterns. They rely on predictable strategies to influence others. They may use guilt, passive aggressiveness, or criticism as a way to provoke a reaction. The key is to observe these patterns without judgment, understand the motivation behind them, and respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. By doing this, you remove the emotional impact of their behavior. You no longer allow their instability to dictate your actions, your focus, or your mood. You regain control over your own energy, which is ultimately the most powerful defense against negativity. Finally, understanding the psychology of negativity shows you that the ultimate defense is internal. No external validation, argument, or confrontation can replace the shield of self-worth and awareness. Negative people can only dominate someone who is uncertain, reactive, or unaware of their own value. When you consistently cultivate self-mastery, clarity, and purpose, you create an environment in which negativity cannot thrive. You are untouchable not because you dismiss reality, but because you refuse to hand your energy over to anyone else's insecurities. The calm confidence, intentional focus, and unwavering sense of self you develop are impervious to external attempts to manipulate, provoke, or diminish you. Every encounter with negativity, every attempt to provoke, and every subtle challenge becomes a lesson in psychological strategy, self-discipline, and emotional resilience. By understanding the inner workings of those who seek to undermine you, you gain the ability to remain grounded, purposeful, and powerful. Your awareness transforms their attempts at control into opportunities to exercise mastery over your own mind, actions, and energy. The truth that negative people cannot stand is simple yet profound. When you own your power, you are untouchable. When you understand your worth, protect your energy, and refuse to let the insecurities or judgments of others define your life, you become a force that cannot be shaken. They hate it because it exposes everything they wish they had: clarity, self-respect, resilience, and confidence. Every attempt they make to provoke you, every subtle criticism or backhanded remark, is met with calm, intentional strength, and that is the very thing they cannot control. They are looking for reactions, for moments where they can feel dominant, and when you refuse to give them that, it throws off the entire dynamic. Their discomfort is evidence of your strength. This power comes from within, and it cannot be taken from you unless you hand it over. It exists in the choices you make, the boundaries you set, and the awareness you cultivate every day. It is in the way you respond to challenges with composure rather than chaos, the way you continue moving toward your goals while others attempt to distract or derail you. The energy of a person who has claimed their own worth is magnetic, undeniable, and invulnerable to the opinions of those who wish to diminish them. Your focus, discipline, and determination create a shield around you that negativity simply cannot penetrate, and each time you exercise this control, you strengthen that shield even further. What they fear most is not confrontation. They are used to confrontation. But your consistency, your self-mastery, and the quiet confidence that allows you to stay grounded no matter what they throw at you. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You do not need to argue, explain, or justify your choices to someone who is speaking from insecurity. Your power is demonstrated through your actions, your achievements, and the calm authority you carry in every situation. When you continue to act intentionally, to live with purpose, and to honor your values, you remove their influence entirely. Negativity loses its foothold when it encounters a mind and a life that are disciplined, focused, and unwavering. Part of this power is also the ability to recognize and release the need for validation. Negative people often seek to manipulate reactions, to create doubt, or to spark emotion because they measure influence by the responses of others. The moment you stop giving them that measurement, the moment you no longer react out of fear, anger, or insecurity, their leverage evaporates. You become the calm eye in the storm, unshaken by external pressure. This is not indifference. It is intentional control, a mastery of self that leaves negativity powerless. Your energy is yours to protect, your mind yours to govern, and your life yours to shape, no matter what anyone else says or does. Surrounding yourself with positive influence and choosing environments that reinforce growth, clarity, and focus strengthens this position further. The more you prioritize your own development, self-awareness, and emotional resilience, the less room there is for negativity to take root. You cultivate an internal fortress built on confidence, purpose, and discipline, and from this position, nothing outside of you can destabilize your focus or diminish your value. Every act of self-care, every boundary set, and every decision made in alignment with your goals is a reinforcement of that strength. The truth they hate is clear. Your life, your energy, and your power are yours alone. No criticism, manipulation, or judgment can reach you unless you allow it. Every time you protect your focus, respond with calm authority, and continue forward despite negativity, you demonstrate the unshakable strength of someone who refuses to be controlled by fear, envy, or insecurity. You are a living example of self-mastery, and that is the one thing negativity can never touch.